Leaders here present, senior leaders of the RDF, representatives of East African Community Chiefs of Staff, ambassadors and regional military attachés, the commandant of the Senior Command and Staff College, graduating officers, invited ladies and gentlemen. In July last year, we came here to inaugurate the RDF's Pioneer Senior Command and Staff course. Today, we are here again to witness the fruits of this important enterprise. It is my great pleasure, therefore, to congratulate the graduates on successfully completing the course, which I'm sure has been tremendous and challenging, as well as rewarding in many ways. The people of Rwanda, you were trained to protect with additional skills and professionalism, rightly and rightfully proud of you, but they also inevitably expect more from you. I also wish to thank all those who contributed to the success of the course as lecturers, both local and visiting, and as ancillary staff. The Senior Command and Staff College has taught you advanced military strategies, strengthening your capacity to defend the people of Rwanda and its territorial integrity. Above all, it enabled you as senior RDF officers to develop the leadership competencies necessary to understand your contribution to the achievement of this nation's larger aspirations in transforming our people's lives. As you all know, the constant effort to build up and advance professionalism within the ranks of the Rwanda Defense Force and its conduct in the field, whether in combat, peacekeeping, or other nation-building exercises, is what will earn respect for our military, both at home and abroad. Let me say a couple of things here. One, a lot has happened during this course. the acquiring of knowledge, of skills, of techniques, of deep understanding of many things entailed in your profession. There is something that is left to you to deal with that can't be provided by this course. The will, the commitment, the conduct in exercising all these responsibilities really depends so much on your choice. How you want to use all these that have been acquired is left to you. The full grasp of the ideological drive that has to be behind all this is not something that can be provided by this or any other course. It's up to you. It's up to you also to make sure that you live up to the expectation that Rwandans have come to take for granted from you. In so doing, you also have to you want to make sure that the successes of the past so far, where you have taken our country from and where you have delivered it, and the journey that remains ahead, do not in any way be mistaken by anyone as a myth. There is no myth. What we have done, who we are, these are real. And they must be made to be understood and be seen as real. Rwandans, RDF, we should be real people that decide for ourselves. So this course, and you who attended it, should help this nation to continue on that journey of defining itself. There is nothing mythical about us. It's real. Even those who tamper with us every day in our small way, but in our real way, should be made to understand that. You remember last year, the same year that this course was being inaugurated, our country was going through a number of hardships. These are not hardships any of us invited. But I think if we are to face them again, those of you who have been here for these weeks should reinforce in better ways the rest of the country to deal with that. Do you know why I'm saying this and preparing you to expect that maybe you will actually face another time like last year? It's for a simple reason. You see, the people who wrote the story about us and put us in the same problems I'm referring to of 2012 are more or less the same people busy out there still trying to write the same or a similar story about us so that we go back to the same problems of 2012. And this has a lot to do with the historical challenges we have had to deal with and we continue to deal with even in the foreseeable future. One simple reason. You remember people called the group of experts under the UN. You know, they are called experts for one simple reason, that some of them come from our former colonial masters. That's what makes them experts. And when they look for those, they are looking for such experts. Not only are they looking for that, but they even look for the bad ones. People they know are negative about the country. We had them in the previous group, we have them in the present group. And that's how it has been established. That we should continue to be held on the leash by the colonial masters through different ways. One, if you remember, in the old days, that's why I want to talk about the new Rwanda as well. The constitution of this country was written by a single person, just because he comes from that kind of background. Somebody, remember somebody called Professor Legends? You know that? So he wrote a constitution for this country. And by that, he's an authority. So, but imagine, ask the question, where were the Rwandans? Why did somebody come from so far away to write a constitution for them? Now, in the current group of experts, there is one who has to be an expert because he's a friend of that old expert. And because he's also as negative as the other one was against this country and against this government. So that is the qualification. So the story is already written. You understand it? I can tell you what it is even before I see it. And of course, the others waiting in the wings again with all kinds of threats and, you know, people come and threaten you that if you don't do this, you know, I'm going to... Some people say, you remember, you know, it's about aid. Twarabagaburiraga none tuzongera tubikupe. No, we can go back to our hills and grow potatoes and cassava and eat those, isn't it? Yes. Remember the maize grain we used to eat? Yes, we survived. We can, I think part of what this course must entail as a context is the RDF. That's not a myth. That is real. It does not depend on sweeteners. You know, we don't depend on that. We are real. Must be real. And we must also operate with the spirit of defiance. These people who come all over telling you all sorts of nonsense, just tell them to go to hell. We are partners. We can be good partners. I think we can really be good people to partner with. But RDF, your graduates, this is a new Rwanda. A Rwanda that is thriving on top of mass graves of our people. The RDF that did not seek revenge. The RPF that did not seek revenge when it had every reason to have been tempted to do it. I don't think anybody should be having issues with us. I don't think so. I don't think so. And we must be left to live our lives. And live our lives the way Rwandans want us to live them. You know, constitutionalism, constitution, which you also defend, among your responsibilities, and the major one. The Constitution is about the will of the people. The will of the people. Well, the will of the people does not always express itself through the Constitution, because there are those who don't have constitutions. There are nations that don't have constitutions, written ones. But they have a set of expressions that speak to the will of their people. The will of our people should be the will of our people. You can't have people running around saying all sorts of things. Let them go and say it in their own countries. The will of the people. And Rwanda and Rwandans, we embrace the rule of law as our main drive forward in our development. So for those who keep wanting to, you know, it's been long, I didn't say a thing. I had some people had things to say about Rwanda having to negotiate, to talk to the murderers of our people. People talking about FDR as casually as that. And they know they are talking about these mass graves of our people. And that the ones who did it, that we owe them a thing. Well, first of all, I kept quiet about this because of the contempt I had for it. Second, I thought it was utter nonsense. Third, maybe it was ignorance. Fourth, If it is an ideological problem, which I think it may largely be, for anyone to be thinking about that, then it better stays with those who have it. But we'll have another day to deal with it. But I think Rwandans, being who we are in our own way and doing our best to be achieving what we want to achieve for ourselves, is not a myth. It's real. It's very real. It is true that significant achievements have been made in promoting regional and continental stability. And so people may ask why set up this college to run this course. The first reason is precisely because there has to be a constant and a deliberate effort to train our forces and to keep the training programs relevant to the evolving security environment. The second reason is because despite such achievements, there are still recurrent and continually emerging security challenges which remain an obstacle to the socio-economic development of our countries. It is therefore our pressing duty to develop capacities for sound analysis of these challenges and design effective approaches to addressing them in a sustainable manner. Conceptual and contextual clarity in understanding problems is very important in order to find relevant and effective solutions. Just like the few things I was saying a while ago. And as you know, a workable solution to a problem can only be developed when there is an accurate analysis of its essence and dynamics. The third reason is that homegrown solutions to our problems are naturally more efficient, more operational, and more sustainable as they seek to address context-specific problems. On the other hand, answers conceived elsewhere and politically and institutionally driven by others, often based on their own interests and priorities, are less likely to be effective. In other cases, they lead to a disaster. The prosperity of nations depends, among other things, on the level of peace and security, governance, and sound economic development policies. An additional reason, therefore, is that at this level of leadership development, it is crucial to appreciate the relationship between these factors and the degree to which they act on each other to advance society. This understanding makes clear the role of a professional defense force in achieving national and global goals. And I'm sure that the Senior Command and Staff College will have prepared you for that. If Africa is to remain on the path towards stability and prosperity, as it should, each of you officers of the Rwandan Defense Force, together with partner armies, should be prepared to play your roles as relevant and active players, rather than passive spectators to our own destinies. This is largely the real problem of our continent. I think we are too subservient. Too subservient. It's as if we also believe we are second-rate human beings that must be driven by others from somewhere else. I think this course should continue to analyze this and bring out solutions we should apply in order to deal with this problem. Too subservient. Too subservient. People must, you must ask whoever is telling you some of these things, look them in the eye and say, why do you think you should be the one telling me to do this or not to do that? In many ways, telling you to do or not to do, they tell you to do what they don't do, or they tell you not to do what they do. And then the African follows that. Why? Why? So in our small way, we Rwandans, as Africans, I think we should be counted, should be there to make our small contribution in defying this kind of way of politics and life for our people. And this is particularly true at a time when the narrative about Africa is being rewritten from one of failure and victimhood to one of hope, dignity, and social economic progress. This is the story, the latter, that we should be associated with, and move away from the image of failure and that of being a victim. Why should you be a victim? Why shouldn't you stand up to that and deal with any challenge? Let me conclude by reminding you that as pioneers of the Senior Command and Staff College, you have initiated a vital tradition that seeks to elevate to a higher level the core values that you well know, that have and should continue to characterize the Rwanda Defense Force, and which I am happy to remind you, but some of them have already been mentioned. Patriotism and loyalty, commitment and competence, integrity, discipline, a sense of identity and a purpose, and a heightened sense of service to the nation. With these distinguished values, you will lead by example, and you will be a source of inspiration to fellow officers and those under your command. Most importantly, you shall pass a unique quality to those who follow you, the true character of the RDF serviceman and woman. Be sure that our government will do everything possible to ensure that you diligently carry out your duties to the nation and serve the citizens of this country. Once again, congratulations, and thank you for everything that we stand for.